What's in my racks? 2026 edition. Let's go. Hey everyone, I'm Cole Caparoon. Thank you for stopping by for another video. It's been nearly 2 years since I did a full rack tour. So today I'm gonna go over every single piece of gear that is in both of my racks, this one and this one. And I'm gonna explain to you what I use every single piece of gear for and what I like about every piece of gear. Let's jump right into it. Still the coolest startup in the game right there. All right, where do we start first? Front rack, back rack, extra rack. Let's start with the front rack first. Let's start with the center section. So this is good grief. All SPL center section. Let's go top to bottom. SPL Vitalizer Mark III. What I love about this is a stereo processing unit. I use it in mastering. I use it in mixing. What I really like about this is being able to like soften up the bass sound just a little bit. It's really, really good for that. It's also really good for adding clarity without harshness. So anytime that's what I need, this is the unit that I'm using. Next up, SPL Venos. I'm just utterly blown away by this. There will be a video coming soon. I'm just about ready to start filming it, dedicated video on this. This is the most ridiculous bus compressor I've ever used. It's unbelievable. So I use this on my mix bus when mixing, and I use it in mastering, and it sounds so good that sometimes I will print stems through it before I even begin the mix. You have multiple rectifier options. You have multiple sidechain options. There's a bias control that kind of controls how hard the compression actually hits. There is the famous SPL air bass and tape sound characteristics. Air bass pretty much stays on all the time. Monster compressor. Next up, SPL PQ. Now I have done a full video on this. A lot of this stuff I've done full videos on already. And I'll try to link as many of them in the description down below as I possibly can. I'll also put links to every single piece of gear in the description down below. So if you want to see more prices or specs of anything you see in this video, check the links in the description. More on that later. I was using the SPL PQ plugin on my mix bus for a very, very long time. I think it's been a year or so ago now. Finally got the hardware, and it's absolutely incredible. It's my favorite thing. So lives on my mix bus. I use it when I'm mastering every single song, and I still use the plugin of it as well when I need more instances of it. Okay, let's go over here. Next up, my signature preamps from Cappy, the Cappy Rune. These are on my mix bus for 80 to 90% of the songs that I mix, all but the very cleanest of pop. These are on my mix bus for. We are going to do another run of these. So there is a link in the description to sign up for an email list, and I will give first notification to that email list. I'll never spam you, so sign up to the email list, link in description. We're gonna do another run of these, but we're also coming out with 2 more signature models, and I think both of them will be out this year, one of them coming up pretty soon. So make sure you sign up to the list to get notified for that. Next up, we've got the Serpent SB 4001, a wonderful SSL style quad comp with a ton of extra settings for ratios and attack and release and blend. It's a really, really good sounding compressor. Nowadays, I use this on like acoustic guitar. I use this on drum bus. I will use this on percussion buses. I use this on all kinds of buses, but that is what it is set for now. Next up, SPL Big. Done a full video on this many years ago. This is still my favorite widening tool that there is, and I have had a lot of people ask me about this because the Vitalizer has stereo expansion. The SPL or the SSL Fusion has a stereo image width, and the Rupert Neve Design MBT has width as well. And yes, I still like this better than all of them. It also has the bass from the air bass, and that is a 50-50 thing, but this is on my mix bus for every single song, and occasionally it makes it on masters as well. Next up, Cappy LC40 EQ. So this is my kick EQ, just absolutely wonderful, thick, gooey sounding EQ with tons of just exactly the right frequency points that I want for when I'm mixing kick. So that is what that is used for. Next up, Cappy FC526 compressor. And this is my kick compressor. I almost always run it 2-to-1. And so that is my little kick chain. Now, a little hint, both of these will be getting replaced with signature models soon. And that's as much as I'm gonna say about it because the signature models are just unbelievable. Okay, next up, snare chain, Cappy LC25. Now, the reason why I use the LC25 on snare drum and the LC40 on kick drum is because of the frequencies. I really like 100 hertz and 200 hertz on snare drum. And I really, really like 80 hertz and 40 hertz on kick drum. And so that is why I have chosen these models to use for each of them. Another Cappy FC526 for snare compression. Next up, Serpent Splice Mark II. I do still need to do a video on this. This is a pretty cool compressor. It is 1176 flavored, and it's just a general compressor that makes it on a variety of different things depending on what is in my mix. Next up, Rupert Neve Designs MBT. This has been just one of those pieces of gear that was such a game changer to me. It is so thick and so gooey and so it just makes everything sound bigger. The EQ is absolutely wonderful sounding. I use it for the high pass and the low EQ most often. The color compressor in blend mode, so that way I'm running it 50% most of the time, is absolutely wonderful for adding character and vibe on the mix bus or on a master. The width, I will use it occasionally, but I do prefer the SPL Big on width, but it is a very, very usable width control and is my second favorite of all of the ones that I have here in the desk. Next up, Super Silk, having blue silk and red silk. So these are different saturation characters. Blue is more low mids and low end saturation. Red is more mid-range and upper mid-range saturation. And then we have the Zener drive as well. So having 3 different flavors of saturation, all independently controllable, is just, it's so, so, so good. All right, next up, SSL Fusion. What's interesting is these 2 boxes are very complementary. The Rupert Neve Designs MBT is a little too thick and a little too gooey on the very, very, very tightest of rock and metal for me personally, and that's when I switch over to the Solid State Logic Fusion. It's just a little bit tighter, a little bit snappier sounding. I mean, it's literally the SSL versus Neve, so that character difference falls in line with these 2 boxes. I love the vintage drive, I like the EQ, I like the high frequency compressor, and I like the extra saturation control right here. Let's, you know what, we're gonna save that for a minute. Let's do this rack first. TubeTech LCA2B, one of my absolute favorite compressors of all time. It is stunning on everything. Unfortunately, it is in need of a service, and so it has been pulled out of the rack to make room for the Venos, so that way it can get a service, and I'm gonna have to figure out where to put it when it comes back. Absolutely love this on tracking vocals. I love it on bass guitar. I love it on drum bus. I love it on acoustic. I love it on piano. I love it literally everything. It sounds like literal magic. So it's headed off to get a service, and it will go right back in the rack as soon as it comes back. I've had this since about 2012, so it's really time for a new service. Next up, SPL. This is their de-esser Mark II, and it is a very cool de-esser. I am, however, running out of rack space, and so I had to make some decisions on what was gonna come out of the desk, and unfortunately it did come out, but it is a very, very cool de-esser. I like how it has a female mode, which basically just shifts the sibilant frequency upwards. It is a very good natural sounding de-esser, and I like it a whole bunch. Next up, Audioscape 76s. We've got the 76F, we have got the 76A, and we've got the 76D. Now, I'm not gonna go into details on the differences between these because there is a video coming just for that exact reason to compare the differences between all of these, but I will say that they sound absolutely delightful and at a completely unbeatable price. Okay, next up, third bay. Top, which I forgot to say over there, we've got some radio power conditioners. I've got 5 of these power conditioners, and in all of the racks, RACKS, and I really, really like these. They're really good. The lights come out. Well, they don't come out on that one because it's facing down, but there's lights, and they sound good. They have filtering in them, and I like these a whole bunch, in addition to having a USB port to charge your phone on. Next up, SSL Bus Plus. Now, this was my mix bus compressor on every single song until I got the Venos. Now, I want to make something real clear about the difference between these two. This is still a stunning sounding compressor. It's very, very, very good. And it's very good in the way that SSL has always been kind of the standard for the style of music that I work on. And in addition to having so many different options, feedback, feed forward, 4K mode, low THD mode, mix, and all the different ratios and attack and release settings. You can run it mid-side. There are different stereo modes that you can run it in, which are very, very, very good. There's dynamic EQ built in. I really do love this compressor a lot. The Venos just has like magic in it, like actual magic in it, and I'm going to show you guys that in the video. But this is also half the price, or less than half the price. And I do still use it on Mixbus when this isn't like, every once in a while, the SPL Venos isn't quite snappy enough. If I need really, really aggressive Mixbus compression, then I do still switch back over to the Bus Plus because it is a wonderful sounding compressor. But I've also been using this on other things when the SPL is on the Mixbus. So it's really cool to have this separate and use this on drums, or use this on percussion, or a whole host of different things. Next up, Distressor. I use this on vocals. I use this on snare drum. Occasionally I use it on kick drum, but those are the things that I use it on most often. Next up, 1176. And these are I use both of these for vocals most often. Distressor if I want a little bit more aggressive vocal sound. 1176 if I want a little bit more natural, organic vocal sound. But both of these are mostly used on vocals most of the time, and they are both absolutely delightful. Next up, Rupert Neve Design Newton channels. These are also used most often on snare and on vocal. Now, even when I'm using these on vocal, I will use it in conjunction with another compressor, either the Audioscape 6A or the Distressor, or the Universal Audio 1176, but I really like the EQ in these. It sounds really, really good. The compressor is very, very good. Having silk built in is really, really good. I love these channel strips a lot for mixing, and they sound great on really just about everything, but I use them mostly on vocals, snare drum, bass guitar, sometimes kick drum, that sort of thing. It's not in the rack, but still using the Focal Clear MG Pro headphones for mixing most of the time, and the Grace M908 monitor controller. Okay, before we get on to rack number 2, like I said earlier, there are links in the description down below for every single piece of gear that I'm showing and talking about in this video, and just about all of those links go to Sweetwater. So if you're curious about any prices or specs of any piece of gear you've seen in this video, hit the links in the description down below. And not just for the gear that you're seeing in this video. Anytime you guys need any piece of gear whatsoever, whether it's a pack of guitar strings or your holy grail compressor, you can jump on any one of my videos, click on any link in the description of any video, and once you're on the site, you can purchase anything you need. And when you do that, it goes a long, long, long ways to help support this channel, help me keep making videos. Just about all of those links go to Sweetwater. So huge thanks to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video and just about all of my videos. Sweetwater has been such a massive part of helping me grow this channel and helping me help other people. So thank you, Sweetwater, for sponsoring this video. Thanks to you guys for using the links in the description below anytime you need to purchase anything at all. Let's get on to rack number 2. All right, here we go. Back rack. Which side to start at? Let's start over here. Okay, first up, radio power conditioner. I can actually show this light to you this time. You just pull these out and then they turn a bunch of different colors, which is pretty cool. So it's neat to have those on when I'm working in here at night and the lights are real dim. Also gives me power outlets right out front and places to charge phones. I really like those. Next up, SPL Channel 1 Mark III. I have a whole video on this. This is a wonderful channel strip. I really like the tube saturation. It has a de-esser built into it, which is very, very good. It also has the transient designer built into it, which is very, very good. It has a single knob, basically a single knob compressor with some makeup gain, which is pretty awesome. And the EQ is absolutely delightful. I will use this most often on pop vocals. When I want a cleaner pop vocal kind of sound, this is usually what I'm going to for the first thing in my channel strip for vocals. But I do occasionally use it on snare drum as well. The transient designer on snare drum is just absolutely ridiculous. Okay, next up, Audioscape ASA 6A. I have a full video going over this. This is my go-to vocal compressor for anything organic, anything indie, anything more on the raw side. The saturation character of it is absolutely delightful. It's so big sounding, it's so good sounding, and physically it's so cool. And just look at all of those tubes. Like, it's so good. Next up, my pair of Coil Audio CA70Ss. I use these preamps to record guitars. I use them to record bass guitar. If I'm recording a vocal that is very, very organic sounding, I will use these for that. I like them a lot on acoustic guitar and acoustic instruments. Anything I want a more round, woolly tube sound, this is kind of my go-to, but it is also my first thing in my bass guitar chain for mixing. So I will run out of Pro Tools, and those are my settings right there for bass guitar. I love the low end, and the negative feedback controls are very, very good. Next up, the next bay. So yet again, we have got another radial power conditioner right up top, and then we have a 500 chassis. This is the chassis from Cappy. And first up, we have some Cappy. These have been renamed. These were the very first run, and they have since had to be renamed. And because they were forced to rename them, they are now called the MFers. These preamps are really, really good. It's hard to even describe what they sound like, but they are big, they are kind of round sounding, but like they just sound really good, really natural, really organic, not as mid-forward as my signature preamps. My signature pre's have a very aggressive forward mid-range, and these are a little bit more even sounding, but they are very, very good, and I like them a whole bunch. Next up, another pair of my signature preamps. I have 4 of them, so I keep 2 of them back here for tracking, and I keep the other 2 up front for mixing. Next up is the Lauren Audio Panther preamps. These are just a really vibey, cool sounding preamp. I have a prototype version of this that was all hand wired, and these are very cool. I like them a lot on electric guitar. I like them a lot on bass guitar if I'm looking for a little bit more grindy, characterful bass guitar sound, but I really like them a lot. Next up, a pair of AML 52F50s. Pretty obvious, these are Neve clones, and they sound like it. I really like these on piano. I really like these on acoustic guitar. They do take up a lot of space, and so while I do like them a whole bunch, taking up 4 slots for only 2 channels has made me think about pulling them out, but they do sound really good, and I use them a lot on that kind of stuff. Next up, LC25 for bass guitar from Cappy. So far my bass guitar chain is the Coil Audio CA70S into the Cappy LC25. Keep that in mind. Okay, next up, Audioscape AS78 compressor. This is one of my main drum bus compressors, and I use this on a parallel drum bus. I'm always having a parallel drum bus, and the AS78 is my choice for when I want something. Actually, hold that thought. Next up is the Audioscape 260 VU stereo compressor. Now, these two are my drum bus compressors, and I choose both of them based on what I want it to sound like. If I want a more round, organic, more rock or indie sound, then I'm using the AS78. If I want a snappier, more explosive sound, then I'm using the 260 VU because the transients on the 260 VU are just very, very fast and snappy. And then if I want something in between these two, that's when I come back over here to the Serpent SB4001. Okay, next up, Warm Audio WA1B. This was one of the most controversial videos I've ever made, and I did not see it coming. I really like this compressor. People have accused me of keeping this in here because they think Warm Audio is paying me to keep it in my racks. I promise you that is completely absurd. No, you couldn't afford to pay me to keep something in here. No company would ever pay me enough money to do that. I think that this is one of the best bass guitar compressors I've ever used. There's something about the detector circuit in this that allows it to just, that like 80 to 100 hertz frequency range, it just locks it down. And that's what I'm looking for in a bass guitar compressor. I want that 80 to 100 hertz range to just not move ever. And this does it about as good as anything I've ever used, and that's why it is in here. So bass guitar chain, Coil Audio CA70S, Cappy LC25, and then Warm Audio WA1B. Okay, next up, the Audioscape XL305R Real Spring Reverb. This is a monster reverb. I have a whole video on this. I did a video on this probably 4 years ago. It is a stereo reverb. I believe it has 12 springs inside of it, and it is the most three-dimensional, characterful reverb I've ever used. It's so deep and so lush, and because there's 2 channels, and with the EQ, you can EQ it separately, so that way it is even wider and deeper sounding. I use this anytime I want any sort of more character, organic, vibey reverb. This is just my go-to for any time that I want that sort of thing. Okay, next up, next rack here, another radio power conditioner, and then right below that, a pair of the Soyuz Lakeside preamps. These have become one of my favorite preamps. Like it's so good. It's hard to describe. They are like big sounding, like absolutely huge sounding, but they're like big and vibey like a Neve 1073 is, but they're creamier. Like a 1073 is a little hairier, and these are just creamier and a little bit smoother sounding. Plus they look super dope. They've got a high pass filter on them right there, and the DI sounds absolutely fantastic. So I do record bass guitar and keys a lot through these, partially because it's just so easy. There's just a spot right on the front, but I record vocals through these a whole bunch. They are really good. Next up, just a cheap Alto headphone power amp, so that way I can run multiple sets of headphones in the room for singers and for guests and for myself. When I'm tracking, I'm usually running headphones through that. Next up, the Grace M908 rack unit. So this is the rack unit that runs the actual remote. This is an absolutely delightful monitor controller, and it sounds absolutely fantastic. So currently how I have it set up is all of my room tuning is in the Grace, and my monitor controlling is in the Grace. Then next up we have the Avid Matrix Studio. This is the interface I do the most recording through. The converters in it definitely sound wonderful. Now I was using this to run all my room tuning for Atmos for a long time. I still think it's an absolutely wonderful option for that. I do really like the Grace, but however, I mean, let's be honest, the Grace is significantly more expensive. There's just pros and cons to both. You obviously can't record through the Grace, but you obviously don't have a monitor actual controller with the Avid. Both have their place. Both are absolutely amazing. Next up, the Avid HDIO. This is my interface for all my hardware inserts. So anytime any piece of gear is being used in a mix or in mastering, every single hardware insert is being run through the Avid HDIO. Unfortunately, they don't make this anymore, but I've been using it for a few years now, and it works so good with the HDX card. All of this is running via the HDX card in the back of the rack. Next up, the Flock Patch. This is just such a wonderful patch bay that is electronically controlled, digitally controlled with an app. I absolutely love that it has front inputs and outputs, so I can test host pieces of gear, or I can plug just microphones. I can just plug them right into the front and then patch it through whatever all chain that I want to record through. Really good. And then we have some Switchcraft TT patch bays. The main reason why I have both is because I don't have a big enough flock. There's not enough channels on the flock to run all of my hardware. That may change at some time soon, but for now, I use both. So most of my hardware here in the back is on the Switchcrafts, and anything that I use for mix bus or for mastering is on the flock. M1 Max Studio is the computer. I got a RAID hard drive, a couple hard drives, and an HDX card back there. And with that, Rack Tour 2026 is done. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's been nearly 2 years since I've done this. Don't forget forget to hit links in the description down below. If you have any questions about anything, make sure you let me know. If you've made it this far in the video, I feel like I've earned a like and a subscribe from you, and I very, very much appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.